Hello, Poop Shoot TV. I told you I'd be back sooner rather than later. I'm a man of my word, if anything else. Most of the time. Anyways, got 5 more things here that I've been up to. And it's a little more evenly spread this time. We got a little bit of everything. So we're going to start with a couple of books. The first being Morbius, the Living Vampire, Blood Ties. So, Morbius, Michael Morbius was a awkward kid with kind of physical deformities. He looked really weird. Nobody would give him the time of day, but he was really smart. And when he got older, he became a scientist. And after he was diagnosed with this rare blood disorder, did all these experiments and whatever to try and come up with a way to fix himself. And then when they finally him and his best friend went ahead with the experiment, it basically turned him into a living vampire. He killed his best friend, and he became a enraged living vampire, and eventually saved this girl named Amanda Saint from being sacrificed to this demon cult, which was run by Amanda's very own sister Catherine and their mother. So they've kind of struck up this weird partnership slash friendship, even though it's a bit tense because he is a vampire and he would love nothing more than to suck the blood out of her neck. But they've gone to New York City together to try and track down this demon fire cult, and the trail's gone cold until one day Michael is given this special blood by Amanda's roommate. I forget her name, Liz, I think, and it makes him go like, whoa, it's like a trip almost, but then he's craving more and more of it. So then he goes on a hunt for more of this blood, which basically is a trap that lures him to this monster fighting club that he gets kind of trapped in, and eventually is able to break out of, and find out that Demon Fire is behind this whole monster fighting club. And in the meantime, while he's been held captive, Amanda has been captured by her sister, and Catherine is trying to turn Amanda to become a member of the Demon Fire cult. So eventually Michael Morbius is able to escape, and then he goes after Amanda to try and rescue her. So basically it's this big final kind of fight in a church, I think it is, between Morbius and then this cult leader Catherine, who turns into a beast herself, and all of the cult followers, sort of thing. So it's big battle to kind of save the day and basically save their own lives. Really cool book because I've always heard of Morbius, and I've always loved the idea of a vampire kind of superhero slash kind of like a Venom. Like he's kind of good, kind of bad, but never really had a chance to really delve into his character. So with this book, and then hopefully being able to see the movie in the near future, should shed a little more light on that character. Next up, another Star Wars book in the High Republic, new High Republic series that they're doing called A Test of Courage. This one's for a little younger reader. This is like a middle grade kind of a story, but it's all Star Wars, so I like to read them all. So this one takes place kind of in tandem with the opening story, where the Nihil pirates first reveal themselves and do that whole hyperspace thing where they destroy that ship, and then all the anomalies are coming out of hyperspace and pelting planets and stuff like that. So this takes place in tandem with that original story, and basically follows the plight of 5 youngsters, four youngsters and a droid, I should say. So basically, the Steady Hand is a cruiser that is setting out for Starlight Beacon, which is the big space station that's supposed to link the Outer Rim to the rest of the Republic, which is one of the Chancellor Lina So's great works, right? This cruiser is hosting a delegation from the Dalnan sector, which is part of the Outer Rim, who have never been really involved with the Republic. They stay to themselves, and the Republic is hoping to bring them in. So they've got this kind of ambassadorial party above the ship that's going to go to Starlight Beacon and, of course, meet with the Republic and stuff. As well as a senator's daughter named Avon, who's a bit precocious and also very brilliant. And then a couple of Jedi. A Jedi Knight named Vernestra Rowe, and then a Padawan learner named Imri. I forget his last name. Oh, and then, sorry, one of the Dalnan delegation's young kids, Honesty. So what they don't realize is that a couple of Nihil pirates are planting bombs on the Steady Hand to blow it up, so it doesn't reach Starlight Beacon, because Dalnan space belongs to the Nihil, and they don't want it exposed to the Republic and their activities to be exposed, so they're doing a preemptive strike on the shuttle. So on the flight to Starlight Beacon, the bombs go off, the shuttle takes damage, and Vernestra helps save a small party. Everybody else on board, the Steady Hand, is killed, including a couple Jedi Masters. And the only survivors that take off in this little shuttle and land on a nearby moon is Vernestra, Imri, Honesty, Avon, and Avon's droid J6. Once they land on the moon, they find out that the moon is kind of dangerous, and so they have to take shelter and figure out what the hell they're going to do. But before they can really decide on a surefire course of action, the two Nihil pirates that planted the bombs on the Steady Hand reveal themselves on the moon as well, and they've taken damage on their ship and can't leave the planet. So it kind of comes down to a face-off between the two Nihil pirates and this little ragtag band of youngsters that hopefully can bring the pirates down and expose them to the Republic and the Jedi, and maybe shed a little more light on this whole Nihil pirate situation that is brewing at the time. So pretty cool story. I like how it happened in tandem, and introduced some new characters and stuff. So pretty cool. Next up, we finished watching season 14 of The Simpsons. 4-disc set, all 22 episodes from the season. Typical Simpsons. What else can I say? Some of the highlights for the shows, the specific episodes. In one of them, Lisa gets bumped up a grade, Bart gets held back, so they are in 3rd grade together. Does not go well. The Treehouse of Horror, Homer clones himself, and we see all the different kind of versions of Homer throughout the year, all showcased together. Marge gets mugged and goes into hiding, and she's all scared all the time, and so she hangs out in the basement and starts pumping weights, and then eventually goes on steroids and becomes like a raving lunatic. What else? Moe saves Maggie from certain death, and Maggie becomes enamored with Moe, and so Moe kind of brings on this new prominent presence in the Simpsons' life, but kind of becomes annoying after time. Ned Flanders dates a Hollywood starlet. All sorts of stuff, and there's other really good episodes in there that I'm forgetting, but just another solid season of The Simpsons. I know lots of people said they stopped watching it once it got like all music-y, and every episode was like a musical. Again, I haven't reached that point. I don't know when the seasons turn into that, or if they indeed do, or people are just over-exaggerating. I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, this season 14 and the show is still going as strong as ever, so that's where we're at, in my opinion. Next up, the Uncharted movie. I finally watched this because if you watch my gameplay footage videos, you'll see I just recently finished the first Uncharted game, so I was then safe to watch the movie. Vastly different from the game. I really did enjoy the movie, but I wish they'd made it more like the plot from the game, because the game plot is so cool and has so many cool elements, and then the twist with the mutants and everything is just a huge like, what the fuck, and this movie didn't have that. So basically Nathan and Sam Drake are kids at the opening of the movie, and they're orphans because their parents are dead. They're descendants of Sir Francis Drake the explorer. They're trying to steal this original Earth map from the Boston Museum or something like that. They get caught. Sam is going to be taken to juvie or something like that. So he escapes into the night to go off on his own and says, I'll come back for you, Nate. He never does. Warp ahead 15 years later or something like that. And Nathan's working as a waiter in, I don't know if it's New York or whatever, but, and he's kind of pickpocketing rich clientele as they come into the restaurant and stuff like that. And one night he's approached by a guy named Victor Sullivan, who says, yeah, I worked with your brother. He's after Magellan's, he was after Magellan's gold expedition that was never landed, and he was pretty close. And I think that you can complete it. So then Nathan Drake eventually gets dragged into this scheme with Sully to go after Magellan's gold and obviously make themselves very rich in the process. So first they have to get this golden cross at this auction. They have to steal it from there. and they're up against a family that has always funded all these former expeditions and are very powerful and are also going after the cross. So they've got competition, and of course the competition turns violent. But they do manage to escape with the cross, and their adventure leads them to Barcelona and then some other location, and then eventually to the Philippines where everything ends. Along the way, they pick up another teammate named Chloe, who has the second cross needed to access the treasure. And of course, everybody all along the way, other than Nate because he's a good guy, are all double crossing each other and want the treasure for themselves. So it's just this breakneck roller coaster ride of an adventure as they step closer and closer to the treasure, with each time somebody betraying the other and each surprise coming along the way. So it's a really neat movie, just a classic type of adventure movie. I feel we don't get enough of these movies anymore. They used to be really awesome in the 80s and 90s, but now they're few and far between. So it was nice just to have a straight up adventure movie, and doubly so that it was based on a video game. I like I said, I wish it had been more close to the original game story, but you get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, lots of people get upset, but I choose not to. Last up, Sudden Strike 4 for the PS4, the complete collection. So this is like a real-time battle simulation strategy game that takes place during World War II. You can choose to play with either the Germans, the Soviets, or the Allies, and each of those factions, I think, has 7 different missions you can play as you move through the story of World War II. In the game, you can't change the fate of what actually happened in the war. If you're playing with the Germans and you're playing the Battle of the Bulge or whatever the hell it was called, you just have to fulfill the parameters of what actually happened to the Germans during that war, during that segment of the war. You can't change the outcome. You just have to fulfill the mission parameters as it actually happened in real life, sort of thing. So and then you can choose to play through with all 3 factions, and each mission comes with its own selection of vehicles and infantry and stuff like that. The vehicles all have their own different types of abilities and features, as do the infantry, all the ground troops and stuff like that. So you just have to learn how to use them in different situations and whatever, and try and complete each mission. And then there's a bunch of bonus missions too. There's like some missions in a North Africa theater, Finland, Pacific, Dunkirk I think is in there, and then there might be 1 or 2 more. I didn't beat most of the levels in the game. I beat not even half, maybe a little less than half. It's just I don't have the time and the patience to like learn what every little segment of each faction does and what their abilities are, and then take the time to really plan it out and execute. I just really like the look and feel of this game, and I just wanted to play it. And once I got into it and realized how hard it is, I wasn't really that interested in like beating it at all costs. I wasn't going to sink a ton of time into it. I just wanted to play as many missions as possible, see the different looks and feels, because depending on the theater and whatever, you get different types of vehicles, different environments, you get all these different looks and stuff like that. I just wanted to experience the game, immerse myself in it, have some fun, and not overly tax myself with making sure I beat every level and drove myself crazy in the process. So, but I really enjoyed it. I don't play these types of games that often. I probably have 2 or 3 games like this total in my whole collection. So, so that's another reason why I wasn't really that intent on totally beating everything, because I'm just not very good at them. I'm not very experienced at them. I just wanted to see what this one was like, get a bit of experience on it, and have a bit of fun. So, but a really cool game. I'm sure the people that like those types of games would probably like this game, because I thought at least it was well done. So, but anyways, that's just my 2 cents on it. You can decide for yourself if you choose to buy it. But those are the 5 things I got up to. And soon enough, I'll be back with 5 more. Until then.